Okay, so this is how the pieces have now turned out. I've sanded down all of the round edges. They feel nice and solid. So I decided I didn't like the snowflake that I made. So I went with a snowman instead. It's to represent the ice storm that we had in Texas this year. And so we ended up, actually there was 2 big snowstorms this year in our area. So we ended up making several snowmen. Yeah. All right, so for paint, oh, this is how the bottom pieces also turned out. Okay. And so I'm comparing them to, this is the only real one that I have by Grimm's. But as you can see, they are the exact same width. Can you compare them? So this is just 3 pieces of 1/8 inch Baltic birch put together. These are from solid wood. But I don't have I don't have a table that, or I don't have a tool that can cut through wood that thick. I'm just gonna actually, we're gonna look at the paint on this a little bit. So there's a few different ways that you can approach the paint. One is you could prime the wood. That will give you a very saturated look. Yeah, you won't see any of the wood grain through. 2 is you can use an undiluted paint. I recommend acrylic for something like this. And that again will give you a pretty solid matte finish. You'll see a little bit of the grain of the wood through unless you do a couple of layers of paint, but I think that kind of gives it the charm. You can kind of do these super diluted washes, which sort of look like a really thin stain, and I think that has a nice look to it also, but that's my cat. I'm going to be going for this type of look, which is a sort of pretty solid matte look. You can also add mediums to your acrylic if you wanted a more glossy finish, but this is what I'm going to be kind of going for. And to achieve this mostly matte look, you will want to add a little bit of water to your paint because naturally acrylic does have a little bit of a sheen to it. So I'm using mainly Liquitex heavy body acrylics, and I also have some golden. The type of paint that you use, honestly, it doesn't really matter that much for this type of thing. If you want to just get the craft paints from your local craft store, that will work perfectly well. In fact, I think they would work almost even better because they're more fluid, so it would be easier to apply them to these pieces. But I don't have those. I have artist paints, so we're going to work with this today. And I'm just using some leftover watercolor exercises that I did for my palette. I think it'll be a pretty thing to look at while I'm working. Okay, so I'm just gonna start painting with the snowman, and I'm gonna speed up the process a little bit. And you can just kind of see how that works out. Try to zoom in some for you so you can see the actual painting a little bit better. There we go. So the one thing I have noticed with These pieces, they're just solid colors. There's no shading or anything like that. Normally I would, for example, on this snowman, I would be tempted to do some white and then some, you know, bluish shading around the edges and maybe in between the snowballs, but I'm gonna go with this look again. I'm gonna try to stick to this and make this a very simple, basic, beautiful piece that will look good on the birthday ring without being, you know, too distracting. It's a nice, simple piece. So I'm just going to work with some titanium white, and I'm going to mix a tiny bit of phthalo blue into it. Just a smidge, just to give it a little bit more of an interesting color than just plain white. Probably need to add a little bit extra paint around the edges to cover up the burned part from the laser. If you like it, then don't bother. I didn't sand it completely off, I just sort of smoothed it out a little bit. So there still is burned area. You'll want to take care when you are painting around the edges. I don't know if you can see, but sometimes end up with this ridge. Paint going from the paint going over the edge. So just want to take care to always be mindful of your edges and smooth it down as you go. I've made a couple of these over the past year. I didn't even really know about this until very recently, and I just love the tradition, and I love that I can make these really special personalized pieces that are just for us. Find that anything you can make yourself can can have a little bit more of a special meaning than something you buy. If you're able to make it and you have time, give it a shot. And because of the nature of these, the thing I like about them even more is that they're supposed to be sort of homey looking, homemade looking. So it doesn't matter if they're perfect. In fact, it's better if they're not perfect. It has a little bit of you in it. Okay, so I'm smoothing down the paint. I'm just gonna go over these sides a little bit more. They have some better coverage. I'm not going for perfect coverage, but a little bit better. Okay. Now, the nice thing about acrylics is that they dry super fast. So I'm going to just set this aside for a little bit. One thing you could do, which I guess I should have thought about, is paint the front and the sides first, then come back and paint the back. But to do that, you need to make sure that you have enough paint mixed, and you probably want to cover it with some sort of saran wrap, or you can add some extender fluid into it, but the extender fluid doesn't really last as long as you think it would. So if you're working very quickly, you could probably, and this is what I did with some of the cubes and other ones that I've done, paint most of the first one, work quickly on the base of the second one, then come back and finish the other side once this one has dried, and just kind of keep rotating through them. And we're going to come back to that one and paint the arm after the white has dried. I have my reference pictures up on my screen in front of me because, for example, for something like this, the pool, I can't, quite remember what I was going for with this. I kind of recall that this was the pool shape, and I think this was her little head peeking out from over the side. But in my sketch, I have a little bit more of an idea of what I was going for. So I'm going to work from my sketch, so make sure you keep that part. Okay, so I'm actually going to draw onto this. It's better to use a pencil, but I don't have one within easy reach of me right now. So I was going for, this was the pool, little lip around here, and I had the water coming across here, and I had some hair and her little smile. I think that's kind of what I was going for. And the pool had these lines on it. And our pool is a dark blue color, and it's a little bit darker than that phthalo blue. So I am going to use a little bit of phthalo blue. It's not darker. I want to say that it's bluer. So I'm going to mix in some brilliant blue with that. I always end up putting too much paint down. You don't want to add too much water. To get that sort of matte look, otherwise you're going to end up too much of a plain look. have. So I haven't super studied how they do the opposite sides. I don't know if they just have it exactly the same on both sides or if they actually go for the 3D effect. So I'm gonna have it be 3D and have the back of the pool will be just the pool and her hair showing over the edge. Might even skip the lines on it, I'm not sure. I think they're supposed to be very primitive. I don't want to mimic that feel. Gonna let that dry a little bit before I move on. The one easy way to balance these, if you can, is on their base, because you're gonna end up hiding that part when you glue it onto the post. Okay, so let's move on to the cactus. Catch. Right, so this was very simple. I'm gonna go for a terracotta pot because that's the kind of pots that we have our cactus plants in. So I'm gonna go with the cadmium red to start. And I'm gonna bring that down with a little bit of burnt umber. And cadmium yellow. More cadmium. Showing up quite a bit brighter on camera. I wonder if I can get my colors more accurate to what this is really looking like. A little closer. Okay, so the cactus pot was pretty straightforward. Pot with cactus. Smooth down my edges. Good. I'm gonna add a little bit of a shadow. This darker color over here, some more of the burnt umber back in. Super tempted to do some highlights on here, but I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, let's move on to the sea turtle, which I am going to bring up some actual reference for because I have a little bit of an idea what they look like, but I've never really studied one or painted one. Okay, so they're kind of a brownish greeny color with some yellow. Okay, we're gonna simplify this down to mainly green. A greenish yellow with some brown on it. Okay. So I am going to do the base color first. That will be the majority of the under color of the turtle. I am going to do this where this is his tummy and this is his back, so it won't be the same on both sides. Right. So I'm gonna start with some. My camera go. Okay, so I'm gonna start with some phthalo green. A little bit. And we're gonna add a little bit of cadmium yellow. probably going to add in a bit of burnt umber too. I know where my palette knife is. We're gonna need a lot more yellow and a lot less green. It's not too bad on the type of cartoony. No, not cartoony. I'm not quite sure what word I'm looking for. A bit of brown in here. That's kind of a land turtle green is what we're ending up with this. So down some yellow and just add a little bit of this green into that. There we go. Kind of the mucky greenish yellow. Okay. Perfect. All right. Turtle on the road. All right. Let's. Now for this one, I have the peg at the bottom. That's going to be the part that actually attaches to the base. So I am going to leave this part natural. The official ones use little tiny dowel rods. But I didn't want to have to do double glue duty, and I didn't want to have to go buy a piece of dowel when I could just sort of make the closest approximation to that on the laser. You just want to make sure your bottom part is super flat so that you can glue it on. And there I actually just accidentally painted it green, so there you go. We're doing green now. That's the color it is. Maybe I'll go back in and paint it brown or something. Or blue, it can represent the ocean. Totally on purpose. The blue ocean. We went to the aquarium in San Antonio and they have all of these rescue sea turtles. It's very cool. By all means, if you've ever made these in a similar way and you have a different process, I would be very interested to hear it in the comments down below. Maybe one day I'll invest in a scroll saw. If I get really interested in wooden toy making or something, but for now... This is pretty acceptable to me. All the little crannies and nooks. Make sure to do a complete once over, because if you missed a spot, color is gonna be dry soon. And you can always remix if you are using a mixed color. It can be a little tough to completely match it. If you're using straight out of the bottle color, then not quite as bad if you miss a spot. There's the green. And finally, the book, which I'm going to do sort of a grayish page color. And then, what color should that actually be? How about red? Let's do red. Well, the ribbon's gonna be red. Actually, the ribbon can be gold. Yeah, there we go, a gold ribbon. Just gonna pull up my sketch again. Okay, so I had this being... This is the page, the book, fluttering out, and yeah. Ribbon, bookmark, other page. Then, of course, on the opposite side, we're going to this back of the book. And I don't really know what the back of these... Are they attached to the book? Are these ribbon things attached to the book? I don't really know. We're gonna make it so that it's attached to the book. Okay. I think I had a journal like that when I was a little kid. Okay, so here's the spine. There. I think I'm going to start with some alizarin crimson, which is slightly transparent, so I'm going to put that on first so that the white pages of the book can go over top of it. Otherwise, I'm going to have the difficult task of painting the red around the white without overlapping it. And let's add in some cadmium yellow. That'll help with the transparency. see, but like I said, it's very transparent, so you can still see the sketch beneath it. Smooth the edges. Ain't going in the same direction. Yellow. Go. Let me see if our white is actually... Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a teeny tiny bit of brown, burnt umber, to our page color so that it's not stark white. Teeny tiniest amount. The white. The gold is going to end up being a bit transparent. I actually thought I had some gold paint, but I don't think I have it anymore. I might have used it all. I'll let that dry for a little bit before I put this layer on for the ribbon, I mean. Smooth. We're getting serious. We have paint on our hands. Okay. So I'm going to come back through and do the details on the snowman. It is completely dry now. I'm just going to take a little smidge of burnt umber. Paint his arms. Gonna have the arm coming in on only one side. Like the front. Not gonna go over edge of the snowman. I like it better without going over the edge, honestly. Fine. Stay the course. It's still definitely a learning process. These are my, I want to say the third little set I've made, but the first couple were just one-off. I didn't add a whole bunch of them all at once. So still pretty new to this. Now, the one thing I'm curious about is faces on these figures. So I'm going to go quickly to their website and just check out whether they add faces. I want to say they don't. Okay, it looks like very simplistic eyes. That's what I kind of thought. Okay, yeah, super simple. Got it. Okay. We're just gonna rock some little dot eyes. Here we go. This is always the hardest part. Little tiny eyes. On some of them, they have a little lopsided smile to imitate that also. Very simple. Very simple. Hey, and little buttons down the front. Why not? Probably would like to do a little bigger brush for this. Okay, here we go. With our snowman, I opted for no hat for Mr. Snowman because ours did not have a hat. But he had rocks for his buttons and I think rocks for his eyes. Some sticks for arms. Okay. Let's do this gold stripe. So gold is actually kind of a weird combination of brown and yellow. It's ugly in theory, but then it ends up being okay. Don't really know how. I already have enough burnt umber on that palette. I'm going to blunt it down a little bit with some white. Some of that low saturation out of it. Okay, I think this green that we have here can actually work out perfectly for our cactus as well. Probably need a little bit more. A little touch more brown. Beautiful cactus. So this cactus is one of our favorites that we have. We named it Paul after the person who gave it to us. He actually, not even joking, climbed a mountain and brought some seeds, sprouts or something. Cactus back. I think it was in Texas. And he gave it to us as a tiny little baby. And the first time it flowered, we were so happy. Little cactus. Probably put some tiny spikes on him. And I believe Paul's flowers are yellow. Kind of a bright but pale yellow. Okay, so let's go with... Again, we're just gonna stick to some cadmium yellow. I think it'll be kind of nice to have a little bit of the consistency across the colors. With some titanium white. Oh my goodness, we are making a mess over here. Okay. Probably stick to more simple forms from now on. This it's kind of hard to get into all these little edges. Not too bad, but I think it's not quite the look I was going for. nicely detailed. Very important to name your plants. It shows them you care. Up my green a little bit. Right. Hey, all right, so I believe our cactus is done. Oh, no, he's not. Need to add those spines. Little tiny spines. Add those in with the yellow. Now he's done. Okay. No. Let's see. The book, I could do some little squiggly lines on it for words. Or I could just leave it blank. I'm not really sure. Let's do some squiggles. Just a few. Oh yeah, I do have one other brand of paint that I'm using. The Winsor & Newton Galleria acrylic. I'll put some links in the description box down below to my materials. I really do like the Winsor & Newton. It's so glossy and glidey and nice. What do you think? Should I have done it or left it? Okay, so let's work on the turtle. The underbelly, I'm going to use this yellow color that we use. I'm going to add a little bit of our green to it. A little bit. Our burnt umber. Muddy it down a little bit. Good on that. So that's just going to be its underside. The top, we're going to go with kind of a brown almost. A reddish brown with some of this yellow. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of this yellow to the top, and I'm going to go over it again with brown. I need to touch up some of my green. I hit it with the yellow. On the side, let them dry. We're gonna work the pool. Okay, for the pool, I did, you know what? I think I am gonna go with some of these lines just to show that it's really our pool. Some little segment. Segments. Water, we're going to do a pretty blue. Okay. Gonna have to find my glue gun to finish this off with. Okay, let's get this hair color. A little bit of the burnt umber and add it into our yellow that we pre-mixed. All right. Okay, there's the hair. I'll work on that face. Mostly that same kind of yellowy brown color, but add a teeny tiny bit of blue in there. A little tiny bit of blue. That is far too much blue. Go in with a small brush on this. Okay, I'll go ahead and add some water ripples. A few on the page. Okay. Do the same process for the face as with the snowman. Teeny tiny little dots for eyes. A little wonky smile. Okay, we wonkified the eye a little bit. We're gonna fix it. We got this. Ross calls them happy little accidents. This is a happy one. Little red smile. I think that's it for the pool. And let's work on that sea turtle. Okay. see what I was kind of going for. So let's try to some of this umber, mix in a good amount of that green we first used. One, two, three. Add a little segment. Then I had ornaments that one. Okay, let's put some little eyes on here. Okay, there we go. Oh, and I was going to paint fake at the bottom. Ocean blue on complete purpose. Oh. Let me see if I can find. I need to go find my glue gun. Plug that in and get that going. Okay, so for these, any little extra wood detailings that they've added out are glued on with, it looks like hot glue. The base is definitely hot glued on. Right there, you can see some of the glue. So, you know, it's not difficult. So I have probably the most abused hot glue gun you'll ever see in your life. I apologize. I should probably get a new one. This kind of getting ridiculous. Anyways, so we're gonna glue on the bases for these once my gun heats up. Until then, let's get my paint out of the way, palette out of the way. Okay, let's bring all these down. I want to wait until they're completely dry. All of them are except for the turtle so far. Okay, so when you are gluing them on, you want to do, I mean, it's not critical that you get the center of balance, but you want it to be kind of centered. So you can just eyeball it. You can just eyeball it. But you wanted to get it on the center. You know, you don't want it. I mean, that's kind of cute too, to have it. Really, you can do it any way you want, because when this goes into the holder, it's going to hold it steady. So it doesn't need to balance in any specific way. I'm going to go for... No, now that I look, that is kind of cute. But I'm going to go for centered. Completely centered. Okay, so it turns out my glue gun was actually dead, so I had to quick go buy another one, and so now we're ready to go. Okay, so now that our pieces are all painted and glued and ready to go, we're going to just glue them onto the base. Okay, and so this is glued on very tight. They're not going to come off. All of these balance pretty well, except the book balance. But I think when I get it into the actual hole, it's going to be fine. So we're going to do a little test run and see how it looks.